U.S. makes its first humanitarian drop.
We wait for hours for our basic needs.
To help aid the people in Gaza. Global leaders unite.
Society develops policies to elevate the well-being of humanity around the world.
For a discussion with a special guest. And a night to feast with the beasts.
And it's really just a great party. It's unlike any other fundraiser you see.
An annual fundraiser for Zoom Miami. These stories and more coming up on Newsbreak.
Hello, South Florida. I'm Valentina Gaspari.
And I'm Anthony Cruz. Today is March 4th, 2024.
Live from the Lee Kaplan School of Journalism and Media in North Miami, this is Caplin News.
American aid dropping from the sky to help with the humanitarian crisis for civilians in Gaza. This morning, the U.S. has launched its first humanitarian airdrop in Gaza since the start of the war.
CNN's Cole Higgins has more on the story.
The United States made its first ever airdrop of humanitarian aid into Gaza over the weekend. The airdrop included 38,000 meals in 66 bundles along the Gaza coastline. U.S. officials say more aid drops are planned, but President Joe Biden says much more is needed.
Aid flowing to Gaza is nowhere nearly enough.
According to the Gaza Health Ministry, at least 15 children have now died from malnutrition and dehydration in northern Gaza.
We wait for hours for our basic needs.
This comes after more than 100 Palestinians were killed on Thursday in a chaotic scene at an aid convoy in northern Gaza. The Israeli military released its initial findings into a review of the incident, standing by its claims that most of the victims died in a stampede to get aid.
This humanitarian operation was carried out by us. The claim that we attacked the convoy and injured people deliberately is baseless.
But Israeli accounts contradict eyewitnesses on the ground.
Our children die of hunger. They went to get a bag of flour in order to feed their children. Some were run over, others were shot.
Meantime, talks were set to resume Sunday in Cairo on a potential ceasefire and hostage deal between Hamas and Israel. However, Israel is not sending a delegation to Cairo, saying Hamas had not responded to several Israeli demands.
Hamas are making outlandish demands in another orbits, another planets. If Hamas can come back down to reality, we'll be able to have a deal.
I'm Cole Higgins reporting.
And as that aid continues making its way into Gaza this morning, U.S. politicians are beginning to push for a temporary ceasefire. Vice President Kamala Harris urged Hamas and the Israeli government to agree to a 6-week ceasefire. Harris will host negotiations at the White House today with Israeli War Cabinet Minister Benny Gantz. This follows Israel's absence in talks between the U.S., Egypt, Qatar, and Hamas as the Biden administration seeks a resolution by Ramadan.
Global leaders unite and speak to diverse audiences about world events and open the door to an educating and entertaining night. I had the opportunity to speak with the special guest of the night and to hear his Lives Amplified story.
A nonprofit organization, Lives Amplified Global Leader Society, focuses on worldwide changes that impact individuals near and far. Their in-person discussions with international figures center on foreign and national policies, businesses, issues, and diplomacies.
Society, first of all, has 3 focus areas. It's a think tank, and this is where society develops policies to elevate the well-being of humanity around the world. And the second area is access and connections, and we try to give members next-level access to global leaders, to global multinationals, et cetera, et cetera. And the third is the business element of it, where we facilitate for members access to new business opportunities, whether it's on global level, national level, local level.
The Society's most recent event featured former President of Colombia, Andrés Pastrana. Throughout the conversation, the former president recalled significant moments in his political career, including his story of being kidnapped when mayor of the capital city, Bogotá.
Someone jumped to my bed. I immediately jumped to my bed and I turned my head to see who was there, and I saw this guy in front of me, Pablo Escobar.
The narco-trafficking cartel affairs were also talked about in his dialogue and what he thinks the next steps should be.
I think that we need to unite really all efforts to fight this common enemy that is narco-trafficking.
Every month, Lives Amplified organizes conferences like this one to speak with diverse audiences and connect with influential leaders. With their membership, you have access to upcoming networking opportunities and much more.
I was so impressed with listening to his experience when he was kidnapped by the terrorists in Colombia.
And as for Stephen Melnick and Lives Amplified, these conferences could soon take place at a university near you.
We bring this wealth of knowledge, information, thought leadership, and global leadership on campuses so students could benefit and they could hear from people who literally run the world.
For Caplin News, I'm Valentina Gaspari.
This morning, JetBlue has waived fees for all flights from Haiti as a result of gang violence rising in the nation's capital. The U.S. Embassy has urged Americans to leave the country as soon as possible. JetBlue's announcement comes after flights from Haiti were disrupted as a result of gunfire near the area. United Airlines temporarily suspended flights between Miami and Haiti.
A Supreme Court decision expected today involving the ballot status of former President Trump. Ahead of tomorrow's Super Tuesday primaries, voters in both Colorado and Maine await the Supreme Court's decision regarding the former president's status on their state ballots. The two states are among a few who bear the Republican frontrunner from their ballots, citing the insurrectionist clause in the 14th Amendment.
A wild night eating among the animals, where Zoo Miami held its annual fundraiser event, Feast with the Beast, where participators would enjoy a night at the zoo with good food, good music, and amazing creatures. Caplin News' Hannah Spence was there and has more on the story.
We're at Feast with the Beast, which is one of the most exciting charitable events. Feast with the Beast helps promote Zoo Miami's mission to encourage people to protect and preserve wildlife. The Feast with the Beast event provides a different perspective for fundraising, providing all sorts of entertainment with special animal encounters and food from some of the best places South Florida has to offer.
Well, it's the biggest fundraiser of the year for the zoo, and it's really just a great party. It's unlike any other fundraiser you see in South Florida.
And with new projects coming up, like a new hospital, a new tiger experience, and a new exhibit area, the fundraiser would help towards all of that to help the zoo grow and become an even better attraction.
And it's mingling, just walking through the park to see the zoo at night is unlike anything that you see in the daytime.
The fundraising event also included a silent auction along with a dance and encounters with Florida Panthers and black bears that Jose Romano, CEO of the Zoo Miami Foundation, thinks makes this very interactive for people.
So I really think that people are able to engage with this event. It's in a very accessible place for the community, and people just love the zoo. So they enjoy eating great food and enjoying the zoo too.
Romano also thinks the best attraction will be the tiger, because of their new club and its interaction with its mother.
This is actually the first night event for the tiger cub. She just turned 6 months old, and it'll be really exciting to be able to see the cub up close. This is a great opportunity for everyone to be able to see mom and cub out on exhibit playing and interacting during this event. So
when you see this type of engagement with our community, you see 1,000 people show up here to support the zoo, it's very inspiring for all of us.
With great food, beautiful animals, and live entertainment, Feast with the Beast is not an event you want to skip in the future. I'm Hannah Spence with Caplin News.
A late-night lunch for a crew of astronauts headed to the International Space Station.
That's still ahead, and so is the story.
Just going to be a really great weekend here in Miami. It's my first time. It's the fans that I'm really competing against, right?
Fans jamming into the Miami Marlins home stadium to see some monster trucks. Newsbreak will be back in 2 minutes.
How prepared is your family if a tornado shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or a hurricane? You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking,
let's go.
You'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza.
Yes. Make a plan today.
FIU wasn't really my first choice, but, I grew up wanting to be a Hurricane, but that didn't work out, so I'm here now, I guess.
Hey, man. Your shoes untied.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah, no problem.
Should have done that against Georgia Tech.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right because a few hours ago in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign, not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a fourth ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
I help our fellows design their paths as creative entrepreneurs. My experiences serving startups, creative businesses, and cultural organizations, and my journey as a queer mixed immigrant with Haitian and Arabic roots, inform the co-creative environment we foster at Radcliffe. We leverage our collective diversity to encourage the building of lifelong personal learning networks and mindsets that stimulate continuous innovation.
Monsters in Miami, but not the kind you would find under your bed. While our student viewers were on spring break, our student reporters were hard at work making sure nothing was missed.
Caplin's Dylan Pizzay checked out Monster Jam at Lone Depot Park on the last weekend of February.
Miami's Lone Depot Park, a traditional stop on the Stadium Championship Series East Monster Jam Tour. But for the first time, our cameras are here. So we're going to go behind the scenes and see just what is going on. Like most motorsports, Monster Jam has a points championship. However, unlike most motorsports, there are several tours operating at once, and there are several different point-scoring competitions in each event. These are some of the drivers of the Monster Jam Stadium Championship Series East Tour, starting with Lindsay Reed, driver of the Lucas Stabilizer.
It is a dream come true. I used to watch it growing up. I was a huge fan. I saw Candice Jolly drive, and I just thought to myself, man, if she can do it, I feel like I can do this too. Just being consistent. I really need to work on my racing a little bit because I feel like that's where I'm struggling. But I think once I get that down, I'll be all right. Because in freestyle, I've finished almost top 5 every time, unless I've had breakage.
Next, I asked the points leader, Tyler Menenga, driver of the Gravedigger, what he would do to hold on to his points lead.
Yeah, I mean, just staying consistent is the biggest thing. I think the racing is the biggest thing for the first thing of the night. You got to at least make it to the semifinals. And after that, it's just being consistent in two-wheel and laying down an awesome freestyle, and hopefully fans are on your side. Tristan's been very consistent this year. He's been hard to get points on, that's for sure.
Finally, I spoke to the aforementioned Tristan England, driver of the JCB Digatron, and what he would do to move up into the points lead.
Just going to be a really great weekend here in Miami. It's my first time. It's the fans that I'm really competing against, right? They're the ones that are deciding who's going to win the skills challenge, who's going to win the freestyle. My favorite, honestly, has been racing. I'm just honing more on that. To be able to come out for two-wheel and freestyle, I don't want to damage the truck. I don't want to hurt my truck. I want to go out there, do the absolutely most flawless, crazy-looking move with barely a scratch on the truck because I took the skill to land it.
Well, it's all the time we have here for Monster Jam. If you're sad that you missed out on this event, Arena Championship Series East will be returning to Miami in August, and Stadium Championship Series East will be returning in 2025 to Lone Depot Park. I'm Dylan Pizzay for Caplin News.
The crew who just launched from Florida is spending their first full day in space today. 3 NASA astronauts and 1 Russian cosmonaut launched from Kennedy Space Center just before 11 last night. Bad weather caused the cancellation of 2 earlier attempts. They will arrive at the International Space Station early tomorrow morning. You're watching Newsbreak. We're coming right back.
Severe weather can strike anytime, anywhere, but there's a simple way to stay safe. Hey, Jim Cantori here. I stay safe in dangerous weather by planning ahead. You can stay safe too with a few easy steps. Build an inexpensive kit with supplies for your family's needs. Write down important information like phone numbers and medications. Always talk with your family and remember any pets in your planning. Be ready, be safe. Start your plan today at ready.gov/plan.
I don't know why you're so sad. You've got a roof over your head.
You gotta stop with that depressing stuff. That's what white people think. You all right?
It just feels like it's coming from everywhere.
Do you want to talk about it?
You can talk to me if you're feeling sad.
Whenever you need to talk, I'm here, okay?
If you're buzzed and doing this, to make yourself feel okay to drive,
ZWX.
You're not okay to drive.
YGKLVW. Regular you.
That's all the time we have for Newsbreak. I'm Anthony Cruz.
I'm Valentina Gaspari. Get more news anytime at caplinnews.fiu.edu.